If you've been watching WWE for a long time, you've seen a lot of epic returns throughout the last decades of WWE. So today, I'm going to give you my top 10 personal greatest WWE returns of all time. In no particular order, but these are the 10 that I came up with that I think are just really hard to top. Let's begin. So the first return we got to mention is definitely Stone Cold Steve Austin Backlash 2000. One of the most epic pops and reactions you will ever hear from a superstar. Obviously, I'm one of the people who believe Stone Cold Steve Austin is the most popular superstar in WWE history. Even though his peak wasn't too long, his popularity is really unmatched. Highest merch selling t-shirt of all time, the Austin 316 shirt. Stone Cold Steve Austin's, popularity is really unmatched. And when he finally returned at Backlash 2000 to help The Rock beat Triple H for the WWF Championship, epic return, epic moment. It's really unmatched. I think everybody should have Triple H returning to Monday Night Raw in 2002. One of the most explosive reactions you will ever hear for a top superstar in WWE history. I mean, this was so special because Triple H was coming back from a torn quad, and, that's a very serious injury to come back from, especially in professional wrestling. But this was announced that Triple H was going to return. We knew he was coming back this night, and the crowd showed him a ton of love in Madison Square Garden, man, in New York City. This was just one of the most epic returns ever that was ever announced. The best announced return in WWE history that got one of the biggest reactions you will ever hear, man. This is definitely one of the most epic returns that will forever stand the test of time. I lost my mind when Royal Rumble 2008 happened and John Cena showed up after he tore his pec a couple of months before that, and he's already back. Like, what? They told us he was going to be out for maybe up to like 6 to 12 months. He's back in 3 months. He tore his pec in October. He comes back in January, wins the Royal Rumble, and it's like, bro, this guy definitely got to be Super Cena. What type of medication this guy on? Because how you tear your pec and then come back in a way shorter amount of time that you were ever even expected, to return. And that's what made John Cena really special throughout his career, is that every pretty much time he got injured, he always found a way to come back faster than doctors would either tell him he can come back or faster than people ever expect him to come back. So this is definitely one of the top 10 returns and one of the top 10 most shocking returns in WWE history. One of the most epic returns ever, man. 2011 when The Rock returns. If you smell what The Rock is cooking, man. And this guy went on to Hollywood to not only build up his superstardom even more as far as a box office attraction, went on to make some box office movies, comes back to professional wrestling to give back. And The Rock didn't owe anybody anything at this time to come back to wrestling. He had achieved and accomplished everything there was to do at the top elite level. Comes back to the WWE for the love of the game and shocked everybody. And it should have been so obvious because they teased this host of WrestleMania and they had this woman get out the car and you're thinking like, okay, it's going to be a female who hosts WrestleMania. And then they had the electricity and everything. And I didn't put two and two together. I didn't know it was The Rock until he finally popped up. And I almost passed out. Brock Lesnar coming back was definitely one of the shocking things that I don't think many fans really expected. Now, I wasn't reading dirt sheets at the time, and I heard there were rumors that Brock Lesnar could be making his way back to WWE at this time frame. I had zero idea. I was clueless. I did not know Brock Lesnar was coming back. I remember watching this vividly, and, the promo segment with John Cena when he was talking after his loss to The Rock, there were fans in the crowd chanting, "We want Lesnar," and I didn't understand why people were chanting that, but people who had read the dirt sheets, they, had heard that Brock Lesnar was rumored to come back, and my gosh, when he came back and hit John Cena with that F5, and you knew the Beast was back in WWE after being gone for so long, oh my goodness gracious. Listen, it's one thing to make an epic return to WWE, but when you can make your epic return at WrestleMania, the grandest stage of them all, bro, when the Hardys came back at WrestleMania 33, blew everybody's mind because they had a match the night before, a ladder match with the Young Bucks. Like, they just had a match at another promotion the night before this WrestleMania, literally. And then they come back the night after having this epic ladder match to have another ladder match at WrestleMania to win the Raw Tag Team titles was insane, bro. Like, when you saw Matt and Jeff Hardy appear on that stage, you were like, bro, this is crazy, man. This is definitely one of the best returns, and another return that had a massive ovation because the Hardys are obviously one of the most popular tag teams that are so beloved in professional wrestling. You could easily say this might be the most shocking return ever because it was very unexpected and just seemed unrealistic. When Edge retired in 2011, he had a serious neck injury that cost him everything. Cost him everything. He had to have triple fusion neck surgery. This man was gone from wrestling for 9 whole years and then comes back at the 2020 Royal Rumble. One of the most positive things that happened in 2020 because then the year went down after COVID hit. Speaking of another WrestleMania return, this was one of those returns where you were like, I gotta see it to believe it type stuff. I was there live at WrestleMania 38. I was in the crowd at WrestleMania that year in Texas, and when the American Nightmare Cody Rhodes showed up, and there were rumors and speculations that Cody could, be the guy to face Seth Rollins at that WrestleMania, but it was more so of like, nah, I gotta see it to believe it type stuff. I mean, Cody Rhodes helped start AEW to be another promotion, to be really an alternative to WWE, to create more opportunities for superstars who weren't being used properly in WWE. And obviously, I think a lot of us expected at some point there would be some people from AEW to make the jump to WWE, but if you would have told everybody the first person to do it would be Cody Rhodes, nobody would have believed it. And honestly, this is one of the most shocking returns I've ever seen. This right here was a pure cinema return, if we're being honest. This is one of the best production returns I've ever seen that had just not only pure storytelling to it, but just an all-around aura that you couldn't describe, man. Extreme Rules 2022, epic return for Bray Wyatt. I mean, everything about this had your jaw hitting the floor like, what is going on? And there were rumors and speculations Bray could be coming back. They were dropping those QR codes that were going around, and everybody was trying to put 2 and 2 together and speculate and making videos on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, all over the place about what does this mean? What does this mean? They had us talking and speculating about this return for a while, and then when it finally happened at Extreme Rules and Bray Wyatt showed up, man, this honestly holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts, especially now that Bray Wyatt's gone. May he rest in peace. I mean, how can we not have Survivor Series 2023 on this list? CM Punk's return. There were people who legitimately believed CM Punk would never return to WWE because there were some sour grapes when he left, man. Like, they did not leave on good terms. And after he dropped that podcast with Colt Cabana and all the stuff that he spoke about on his end, about all the bitterness that he had and how WWE treated him, you were like, oh, he's never going back to WWE. And then when he went to AEW, you were like, he's really never going back to WWE. But then he had a falling out with AEW. And then people started speculating, well, maybe it could be possible. But then there were also people like, nah. But my gosh, when CM Punk's music hit and you saw him walk out on that WWE stage for the first time since 2014, almost 10 years, bro, honestly, it was one of the most shocking things ever, bro. CM Punk back in WWE still, honestly, sometimes it still doesn't feel real to this day.